What's up, boys? MKTV here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Today we do have a double premium draft in this one. If you do enjoy, smash that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel as well on the road to 5k. Without further ado, let's hop straight into things. So the two premiums we are going to be using in today's draft are going to be Mohamed Salah and Erling Haaland. Arguably, Erling Haaland the most essential player in FPL this season. Salah a little bit underlooked as of the price tag for 12.5 million. But we're going to be fitting both them into a draft today. And let's see how it looks. So for the goalkeepers, we're going to keep it short and simple. We do have Andre Onana of Manchester United coming in at 5 million. Really good option. And he does cover the United defence. It's cheaper than going for the likes of a Luke Shaw. Plus, I think a lot of saves he can be making. Passes forward and stuff. Very good goalkeeper at 5 million. And he is our first option. Second of all, we do have Alphonso Areola. He's just there as a filler for 4 million. Potentially could be taken over Fabianski. Not too sure on that one. We'll have to see how it plans out over pre-season and that. But yeah, just a 4 million goalkeeper to cover as well. Andre Onana is our number one, and then we'll be playing every single week. Wouldn't want to be spending any more than 9.5 million on my goalkeepers potentially. Definitely not more than 9.5. 9 million is fair enough. Even if you want to go 8.5, that's very decent. But I wouldn't be going any more than 9.5. Moving on to the defense. Gabriel coming in at 5 million is going to be a decent pick. Has a very decent defense for the Arsenal defense and a nice cheap way into it. With 5 million from Gabriel. 19.7% owned, so pretty highly owned considering the amount of people that are currently registered to FPL. And yeah, he does take up our first defensive slot. Really nice attacking threat with him as well. Always has an eye for a bullet header and some really good defensive numbers from Arsenal as well. So that's our number one in the defense. Number two is going to be John Stones. Coming in at 24.2% owned as well. So very highly owned. So it is a common as well defense, I suppose you could say. And yeah, 5.5 million, he does cost a little bit more, but if he does come into the midfield like he was playing a little bit last year towards the latter end of the season, he could be a very good pickup for 5.5 million. And the Manchester City defence, obviously, City did win the treble last season, Champions League winners and Premier League winners. Best defence, arguably in the Prem when they are on their day. But yeah, really good defence as well. A nice way to get into the City defence. Is he nailed on? It is yet to be seen. But I'd imagine in the best City team that they can possibly field, he will be in the starter. But yeah, that is our second defender. Moving on to number 3, which is Pervis Estupinan, the most owned FPL defender at time of recording the video. 5 million as well, coming in at 5 million. Really cheap, considering the attacking threat he opposes. And also a really nice way to get into the Brighton defence. He's the most owned defender for a reason. Get him in your squad as well. He's very nice. And a really good defender with a good defence and good attacking numbers as well. And the last two defenders we do have in this one are similar to my Game Week 1 draft, my first one. If you haven't watched that video, go ahead and do so as well. But we do have first Rico Henry to start things off. You can go for an Ethan Pinnock if you do like here as well. But we've gone for 4.5 million Rico Henry, who's currently at time recording 6.8% owned. So not very highly owned considering the amount of people playing the game. And yeah, it looks like a decent option as well. Nice fixtures as well after the first few. And yeah, really decent option. Always has a nice bit of attacking threat. Covers the Brentford defense if you do wish to play him, and gives you another option off the bench as well if you want to start with him. He is a very good option there as well. Second of all, we do have Bayer. You can go for Baldock or any 4 million defender here as well you like. I've gone with Bayer just for the simple fact he's in the Burnley defense, which is arguably one of the best defenses for the 4 million price tag, especially the ones that did come up last year from the championship. And yeah, 7.4% owned, so slightly higher owned than Henry. But again, a 4 million option defender that is most likely going to sit on your bench the whole season isn't too bad at all. For the midfield options, this is where things get a little bit more interesting. We do obviously have Mohamed Salah, who is going to be in this, the draft. The kind of videos are revolved around him as well. So we've got him in this squad, and he is 24.4% owned. So not as highly owned. He's in one of 4 FPL teams that you will look at, which is actually slightly lower considering he is the king of FPL the last few years. Always gets up in the 200 points minimum the last few seasons and stuff. And obviously coming in at 12.5 million has dropped from last season, which is good to see. And yeah, coming in the midfield, 12.5 million. He is hefty price tag, but you pay for what you get. He is a premium player for a reason. He's going to rack up goals on penalties for Liverpool. Really good option as well. Beside him then, we do have pkyieu Saka, the most owned midfielder in FPL this season so far. 53.8% ownership at the moment. Coming in at 8.5 million, it is a little bit cheap, I do believe, for him. So he's a no-brainer, get him in there. All the Arsenal midfielders are very viable options. But I've gone with Saka, who I do believe should be on penalties as well for them. for the start of the season. And yeah, I think he just works well. 8.5 million beside Salah. It just works, doesn't it? Alongside them then as well, we do have Enciso of Brighton, coming in at 10.6% owned, so slight, he's pretty highly owned, to be fair, considering he's a 5.5 midfielder, which is very decent. Game time will be a little bit of a question mark over him slightly, I suppose. If you do want to go for a more nailed on option, you can go for the likes of Dwight McNeil at Everton for 5.5 million. There is some other options as well. I think Madueke of Chelsea is there. But I've gone for Enciso in this squad, just in this draft. I think he looks good. His numbers are really good. The underlying numbers when he does start. He's just starting the season. Will he actually get the starts he requires? We will obviously see very soon. But yeah, Enciso in there as well. Any 5.5 midfielder will do there if you want to go with them. But they're the three midfielders I've started off with. Let's have a look at the other two. The next two midfielders we've gone with are Bruno Fernandes from Manchester United, coming in at 8.5 million as well. Decent price tag for him. A very, he's dropped a lot in price from last season, which is good. And yeah, coming in at 25.3% owned, so in one of 4 FPL squads at the moment. Really good option from Manchester United. 0.5 cheaper than Rashford. Obviously, if you do have the 0.5 extra saved from somewhere else, you can go and upgrade to Rashford if you wish. And yeah, I just think he's a really good option on penalties for Manchester United. Nailed on. Played literally the most games of any player in Europe last season, so he's nailed on. Will guarantee you them minutes. And just a really good option for Manchester United. And attack, it's a cheap way of getting into the Manchester United attack and always involved in the play with Bruno Fernandes. Beside him, we do have Maddison of Spurs now, obviously. 7.5 million he does come in at, which is a very good price considering he does always, he's always a player who will get you points in FPL, always gets goals and assists, and 14.1% ownership. Not the highest ownership, so he's not quite a differential, but he isn't very highly owned. And obviously, with the rumours of Kane leaving Spurs potentially, they're kind of progressively getting more and more every single day recently. Rumoured would have moved to potentially Bayern Munich. We could see Richarlison slot up top, Son beside him. Maddison could play a big part of this Spurs team this season. And obviously, a really good option. You can't go for the likes of Foden or any 7.5 here, but I've gone with James Maddison for this squad. I think he could rack up some goals and assists this season. Could be a big move for him. Moving to Spurs, and let's see how it does plan out. The first forward we're going to be talking about is going to be Erling Haaland. If you don't have him in your squad, I don't actually know what you're doing. Get him in your squad. Don't be stupid this season. Get him in your squad. You're going to regret it if you don't, unless he's obviously injured and stuff as well at the time where you're watching this video. But then we move on to Cameron Archer. Again, just a 4.5 million slot. If you want to save and move from John Stones to the likes of a Rico Lewis or something, and you save $1 million and want to go for someone else other than Cameron Archer, that is absolutely perfect for yourself if you want to do that. I've gone with Cameron Archer here for the 4.5 million slot. Don't think he's going to get much game time. He's just going to sit on my bench. But for 7.7 million ownership as well, at 4.5 million, you can't go wrong. He's just going to sit on the bench the odd time, maybe make a cameo. But yeah, literally going to sit on my bench the entire season, or for the time being anyways. Moving on then to our third striker, it is going to be Vissa of Brentford. Now this one's a little bit more interesting. I do think it is between him and Mbeumo for the penalty spot, for obviously taking penalties and stuff for Brentford. But 4% ownership on him, really low ownership considering Mbeumo is like 25, I do believe. And obviously he's 0.5 million dearer. Is a midfielder, does take up a midfielder slot. I think he's a really good option. Vissa of Brentford, and could be, who knows, could be the better version of Ivan Toney this season. Cheaper, could potentially be getting just as many returns as him. I don't believe he will exactly, but could be a really good option until Toney obviously does come back from suspension. And at 4 million, you can't go wrong. You can go for anyone at 6 million here, but that is the squad I have come up with for the Haaland and Salah double premium FPL draft. So lads, this is how the team is lining up for game week 1. At the time of recording this video, it is 2 weeks out from the FPL deadline. The 11th of August is when it is the first game of the season and stuff before you have to get your teams in. But this is how it looks up. We have Onana home to Wolves to start things off. The defence then is looking at Stupinan home to Luton, Stones away to Burnley, and Nottingham Forest at home for Arsenal, so for Gabriel. The midfield then is looking in Enciso home to Luton, Maddison away to Brentford, Bruno Fernandes at home to Wolves, Salah away to Chelsea, away to his former team. Could be some goals there. Saka at home to Nottingham Forest, who also has the vice captain's armband. And yeah, we're moving on to the forwards. Then we do Vissa home to Spurs, and Erling Haaland with the captain's armband away to Burnley. So that is how it looks. The bench then we do have Areola away to Bournemouth. Just don't know if he's going to be number 1 at the moment. We do have Cameron Archer. away to Newcastle, Rico Henry home to Spurs, and Bayer of Burnley at home to Man City. So that is how things look there. We do have no million in the bank, no money at all in the bank, which is not ideal, but it is what it is. Obviously, if you want to get Salah and Haaland in the team, or if you want to look at Harry Kane and Haaland in the team, you want a double premium draft. This one we've gone with for Salah and Haaland. But if you were looking, say for instance, you want to get in both Kane and Haaland as opposed to Salah, there's a load of options. There's a load of things you can do here. You can just switch them around. You could go for a 6 million option in midfield. You could look at the likes of Gibbs White. You could look at the likes of, you could really look at anyone in this position. It just kind of depends what you want to do. You could get rid of John Stones, say for instance, and move to a 6.5 in midfield. You could look at Eze, and you could go for like the likes of a Nathan Ake or something. It's completely up to yourself what you want to do with this draft, and a double premium one and stuff. But yeah, it just does depend. That is the team I've gone with for the double, with Salah and Haaland in there. If there's any other drafts you do want to see, including players, do let me know. If you want one without Haaland and without Salah, no premiums in it, do let me know as well. But yeah, I thought this was an interesting video. Really enjoyed making and stuff as well. If you did enjoy, smash thumbs up, subscribe. And also, if you do want to join the mini league, MKTV YouTube League, link is down below in the description, or the code, whichever you prefer. And yeah, boys, that is how things look on the FPL website. Let me know what you think of the team as well. Rate it out of 10 if you do want to go ahead and do so. Leave it in the comment section down below if you have any questions. And yeah, so boys, that's going to wrap things up for today's video. If you have enjoyed the draft with Salah and Haaland, double premium draft, massive thank you if you did enjoy, and big ups as well to anyone who is watching. Smash thumbs up, subscribe as well if you haven't already. On the road to 5k, lads, really do appreciate the support. Trying to hit as well 5k would be amazing to do that this year as well. Smash thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll catch you boys next time with the next one. Peace.